In this activity, we shall be looking at how to identify all the prime factors between 1 and 200. So, the activity says we should shade all the non-prime numbers by following these steps. So, in order for us to successfully get all the prime numbers between 1 and 200, we shall take this step. Step 1 says we should shade all the multiples of 2. Step 2, we should shade all the multiples of 3. Step 3, we should shade all the multiples of 5. Step 4, shade all the multiples of 7. And step 5, we should shade all the multiples of 11. Step 6, shade all the multiples of 13. Once that is done, all those that are left will be said to be prime numbers, including prime numbers of 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, and 13. So we shall shade all the multiples of 2. Now, if we have all the numbers written from 1 to 200, and let's shade all the multiples of 2. In this case, I'm going to circle them. So multiples of 2, we have 2, 4, 6, 192, 94, 96, 98, and 200. So I have been able to shade out all the multiples of 2. Step 2 says we should do same by shading all the multiples of 3. So also shade out all the multiples of 3. This includes 3. 6 has already been shaded, so you don't shade it again. 9, 12, 15, 1, 2, 3, 95, 1, 2, 3, 198. Okay, so these are the multiples of 3 between 1 to 200. The question is, what you are trying to do is to get all the prime factors between 1 and 200. Step 3, we have taken step 1, step 2, step 3. Shade all the multiples of 5. Multiples of 5, we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 165, 175, 185, and 195. All the multiples of 10 have already been shaded by we shading multiples of 2. So we have taken the third step, which is to shade all the multiples of 5. We should also shade all the multiples of 7. Multiples of 7, you have 7 plus 7 is 14, 21. 21 plus 7 is 20. Plus 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 189 shaded. Plus 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which is 196. It has been shaded. So we have been able to shade all the multiples of 7. That's for step 3. Step 4. Okay, that's for step 4. Step 5 says we should shade all the multiples of 11. All the multiples of 11, we have 11 itself. We have 22 that we shaded. So if you look at it, it's just like this: 22, 33, 44, 187, and 198 have been shaded. That is that on multiples of 11. We shall take the sixth step, which is to shade all the multiples of 13. So if you go back to shade multiples of 13, we have 13 itself. 13 times 2 is 26. That we shaded. That will be 179. So we shade it 179. 179 plus 13, 192. 192 has been shaded, and that is where we stop. So we have shaded all of this. Then let's say all the unshaded numbers are the prime numbers of 1 to 200. So all the unshaded numbers are said to be the prime numbers of 1 to 200, including the prime numbers that was shaded. So we are going to write out all the numbers in that order. So these are the unshaded numbers, but 1 we said is not a prime number. Why is 1 not a prime number? 1 is not a prime number because 1 has only one factor, which is itself, while a prime number is a number that has two factors, 1 and itself. So 1 is just left with a factor other than two factors. So 1 is excluded from the prime factors. So these are the prime factors you can find between 0 and 200. Now, the question is, why is it not necessary to shade multiples of 4, 6, 8, 9, and 10? It is not necessary to shade the multiples of 4 because shading the multiples of 2 has already eliminated all the multiples of 4 and 8. Why is it not necessary to shade the multiples of 3, of 6? Since we have shaded all the multiples of 3, they are also the multiples of 6 and as well as 9. So it is not necessary for us to have shaded 4, 6, 8, and 9, and shading the multiples of 10 or 5 automatically shades all the multiples of 10. Another question is, they said, why is it not necessary to go beyond step 6? That is, to shade multiples of 17, 19, 23, 29, and so on. Just like I said, it is not necessary because shading the multiples of 17, it means you are shading the multiples of 2, 3, and others, which I told you that since you have shaded the multiples of 2 and 3, these are not necessary. Now, list out all prime numbers between 1 and 200. And when you list them, this is what you will get. Kindly like my videos as you watch. While I recommend that you subscribe to my channel if you are yet to do so, also turn on the notification bell so as to be notified whenever a new video is being uploaded. You can also use the comment section to interact with me on areas that are still difficult for you to understand. While I recommend you share the link with your friends and families so that they can also benefit from our daily classes. We shall now take examples on prime factors.